By Samuel Adams. Savor the flavor responsibly.
Wow, it's kind of nice working from home. Now I don't have Dan sweating over me over the entire show.
All right, look, this is the pandemic version of this television show. It has been wrung dry. Bomani looks good, but look at us. I want you to look at the three of us amid this virus. Put on the screen again and again what we used to look like when we did this show together, vibrant and filled with life. And look at us right now. Let's start highly questionable, old school style. But Bomani, you look good, but we're a mess. And doing the show this way with my father's lame joke, it's a bad way to do it.
But it doesn't smell like cigars at my table.
Should we take back all of those apologies that we never actually gave to Josh Allen?
Bomani, the sports media gas bags like us can be pretty strident and really enjoy being right and never being wrong. But I am willing to concede already, even after a loss where Ryan Tannehill looked like a better version of Josh Allen without the mistakes and the recklessness, even after a loss where they got swamped last night against a very good Tennessee team, I'm willing to say that this guy is already better than I ever thought he would be, more accurate, less reckless, and he's got great skill, guys. I was impressed in a loss. I know the numbers that he had to start the season, and he will make mistakes like he did in last night's game that will end up costing you, but I'm willing to watch this guy grow as an exciting talent because he's actually a hell of a lot more. They coached a little bit of the dumb out of him, and it seems they're scheming their way to coaching a little of the inaccurate out of him as well.
All right, now here's the question, though. Did they coach the dumb out of him, or are they coaching exceptionally well around the dumb? Because even as he's had this good run, and people are pointing to the fact that he hasn't thrown interceptions, he's damn sure tried. And even in this game where he also threw interceptions, you had a couple other ones where he gave it an attempt. Now, there was that one drive in the first quarter where he looked excellent coming off that first interception where he threw the ball behind the dude and it bounced off his shoulder pads. He is talented, and I am with you on the fact that he is better than I thought that he would be. But that has a lot to do with the fact that I just didn't think he could be good at all because he was starting off so badly. But what you saw in this game, the Titans did a whole lot of playing zone and not a lot of blitzing, which is basically we're going to just sit back and we're going to have a bunch of dudes with eyes on you, and you can try to run, except we're going to see that you plan to run. We're not going to blitz you, so there's not going to be something open that's not supposed to be there. And if the first thing ain't there for Allen, he ain't really got much else for you. Even look at that touchdown that he threw, that really strong arm pass he threw in the back of the end zone to T.J. Yeldon. You see how open he was for so long before Josh Allen realized that he was there? So, yeah, he has exceeded the expectations that I had and the expectations that you had. But the limitations of him, what have I said? The ceiling on this team is their quarterback. As exciting as he might be, if they don't win, chances are it's going to be because he didn't play well. They gave up a bunch of points, but he also didn't play well.
But this is what I saw last night, Bomani, and this is one of the things that impresses me when it comes to all the different ways that we do advanced metrics on trying to measure these quarterbacks, and we get it wrong 6 different times, some of us, on Kirk Cousins, and Bill Polian is 6-time executive of the year, while the most valuable player in the league is a guy he didn't think could be a quarterback. When I'm watching this guy, and I fear him on 3rd and long, when early in that game, he is somebody who can beat you a lot of different ways on 3rd and long. That's how I used to measure Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes, that when you're on defense, do you fear them on 3rd and long? And I believe he's climbing into that category already because of the ways, because he's hard to tackle, because 3 times last night they had a corner coming in untouched and he moved his hips to get around him. Like, that's some stuff that's learned, but it's also some stuff that's organically athletic. He can evolve with that position.
Yeah, what also helps that their offensive line, when they block for the pass, do it very, very well. Like, he's not going to be a dude that's going to get the ball out on the 3rd step, on the 5th step, on the 7th step. He's not going to be that dude. But they do give him all day long to throw the ball. And once that happens, because he can run and because his arm is so strong, you're going to wind up being in trouble. Like, there are things there, but I still believe that for things to go right for Josh Allen, everything else around him has to go right. Because there's all the athletic things we've seen. What we haven't seen is a lot of stuff where he is overcoming the mistakes of others. Typically, he is overcoming the mistakes of himself.
Because gas bags can become entrenched, because gas bags don't like to be seen as wrong on television, we bring in our fearless leader here. Let's listen from Boppy here. He's got some things to say about Josh Allen, I'm sure.
I'd like to apologize to Josh Allen Hey, Josh, it's not fair that we judge you on a weekly basis. You are an impressive young quarterback. It's not fair that Bomani wants you to fail. With that said, I also hope that you fail. It's two a time, baby.
What?
El Bills
What?
Mafia. If you have a problem with that, throw my son through a table. He is very, very heavy. He can break any table. Even if that table was made of steel, he will go through it. He's the best table breaker there is.
Seriously? Can you guys put back up on the screen the photo, the disturbing photo of my father and I in polka dotted thongs? That's where we're going with the humor in 2020. That's what we're doing. Bomani's one of the smartest people in the history of sports television or any kind of television. We're wasting his time with this stuff with my father.
Hold on. You're going to put that picture up of me and think that I'm here for my intellect? No, put that picture back up. I'm here for that right there. Really? Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Come
that's
on.
right.
Come on.
It is a visual medium.
Come on. It's unpleasant, disturbing.
Oh, no, I meant the picture of me. Ain't anybody talking about you.
Oh.
Who's more to blame for his Jets flameout, Le'Veon Bell or Adam Gase?
All right, now Le'Veon Bell is in this place where he did something that sports fans can never forgive, which is have the audacity to say, nah, that's not enough money for me. I just won't play this year, right? Then he comes back, he gets a deal from the Jets, and everybody laughs at him because he didn't get as much money as he wanted. The real reason to laugh, of course, is that he was going to play for the Jets. He gets there. Adam Gase then tells the general manager, I wish you hadn't signed him, and they fired the general manager. I'm just going to ask you this question. When you try to figure out whose fault this is, Le'Veon Bell's or Adam Gase's, what hasn't been Adam Gase's fault since he got there? Like, there's a reason to believe that Le'Veon Bell doesn't have anything left. I have no idea because he's been playing for Adam Gase, a dude that didn't want him there in the first place. And even if he did want him, I got no reason to believe would have any idea of how to use him. To me, and I understand that this may be a bit binary, but if the question is who's to blame and one choice is Adam Gase, I don't need to know what the other option is. The answer is Gase.
A bit binary? You think it's a bit binary? That's funny. All right, let's check in with the introductory press conference of Adam Gase. This was him being introduced to the Jets media as the savior from the Miami Dolphins, and he was doing that googly-eyed thing. Now you arrive at a point where they are 0-5, where they've traded a Hall of Fame safety, where their quarterback has regressed, and that Le'Veon Bell, Bomani, he got there as the best running back in the league. He is sort of the tipping point, or where did running backs become disposable when the Steelers could get rid of Le'Veon Bell? He sat out for a year. We laugh at Le'Veon Bell, but he didn't go from the best running back in the league to a guy whose longest carry, Bo, in 17 games for the Jets, paying him $27 million was 19 yards. That can't be his fault. That's not his fault.
I got to be honest. You mentioned that $27 million. I feel like that's not enough to have to put up with the Jets. Like, there is not a single player on the Jets who is not underpaid for having to live their lives like that playing for the New York Jets. I'm risking my life, and Adam Gase is the one in charge.
Does any part of you feel bad for Jose Altuve?
Oh, this one's an interesting ethical dilemma, Bomani, because these are the cheatingest cheaters. Everybody hates them. But what's more humanizing than what's happened to Jose Altuve? He's the tiny little guy. He's best in baseball. Then we say he's cheating, and it appears to everyone that he was cheating. And then he comes back, and he's totally short-circuited this season where he can't hit at all. Like, he's totally confused because baseball is cruel, and now he's got the yips at second base. Last night, another error that ends up hurting. They're getting ground balls. They're getting ground balls into the shift. And yeah, like he's got to do better than that. But this reminds me of Rick Ankiel. This reminds me of like Chuck Knobloch. It's just, he keeps throwing things poorly from, easy plays. And I feel for somebody when they're in the middle of something like that, no matter how paid they are.
Look, man, as much as people feel like the Astros didn't suffer any level of punishment, Jose Altuve's stat line seems to indicate he suffered some. Now, we don't think that he cheated for the entirety of his career. This is by far the worst that he has ever hit. His slugging percentage this year was lower than his batting average was in that season of 2017. Like, he has paid a price, and now I can't imagine what it's like being so trapped in your head that as a second baseman, you cannot throw the ball to shortstop. But do I feel bad for him? not really. This is kind of sort of how things work out sometimes under a circumstance like this. But it is very interesting how he went from the guy that everybody could like, because everybody feels good when they see a short man, excel in our society with so much stacked up against him. Then they find out the short man was a cheater, and they get out here and treat the short man like they really want to treat short people, like they don't like them that much.
Wait a minute. So you thought I was too gentle and loving with the humanizing of my tiny Hispanic friend?
No. I think it's cool. I mean, there is a human element to him, and if I was there, it would feel terrible. I myself don't necessarily feel bad for him, but I feel like me just not feeling bad for him is like 10 steps above all the other people who are enjoying this to no end.
And speaking, of course, of people who are enjoying this to no end, we've got the loudest of all of sports television's Hispanic gas bags. Here he is again, ladies and gentlemen. Papi in the pandemic.
Houston, we have a problem. Jose Altuve is coming up a little bit short, his throws. He's at Michael Fox playing second base for the Astros. Do I feel bad for the Astros? No way, Jose. The only team that brought more shame to the state of Texas is Texas football. Papi hates cheaters. Papi has spoken.
Cheaters. My father said cheaters there. Cheaters.
Yeah. I feel bad for Altuve because if he was a basketball player, Papi would never do that. There ain't enough Latino basketball players for him to be out here standing on principle. It's a baseball player. He can just jump off onto another one.
He still admires J.J. Barea. J.J. Barea, a short person, is one of his favorites for doing that to LeBron 10 years ago.
Coming up next on my son's TV show.
I don't know how many protocols this is going to violate, but I am told that at halftime of a low-level...
Do you question if Josh Norman should be ashamed of this?
Bomani, I know running backs are disposable, but some of my favorites throughout time are guys who are just more of a man than the people that they were facing. Jim Brown, Earl Campbell. The list isn't very long of guys in the modern age who can embarrass your masculinity on television the way that this guy, Derrick Henry, does to Josh Norman. Josh Norman coming up. He's not small.
Off me!
It's a 3 or 4 yard gain, but Derrick Henry loves doing this and is very good at it. I mean, Josh Norman is what? I mean, he's not small, Bomani. He's not. So let's see a montage here of Derrick Henry doing this to a whole bunch of people. Yeah, this goes back a ways.
Wait. Off me?
And he's too fast. It's so ridiculous. Someone to have that size and that speed. Yeah.
Oh, you can get some, Earl.
Earl Thomas.
Oh, he gave like 2 of them.
That's a Hall of Famer, Earl Thomas. Get out of here. Get the front of you, get off of me. The back of you, get off of me. Oh, yeah,
it's so disrespectful.
I missed the Derrick Henry screen passes. That's ridiculous. There aren't many people in the history of the sport who've been able to do that right there.
Truth is, like, Josh Norman should be ashamed of that because there is no circumstance under which somebody just throw you across the room like that, and it is not shameful. But Dan, I will say this, and this is like apropos of nothing, but seeing Derrick Henry with that stiff arm is a reminder for me of the illest stiff arm I have ever seen in my life. Do you remember Greg Jones at Florida State?
Oh, my God.
This
big
one
arms,
against
big arms.
North Carolina.
Thighs for
2000.
arms. That guy's arms,
Yeah.
like that's Michael Pittman territory on just biceps.
Yes, and here he is decapitating a dude that wound up winning Super Bowl rings. And it reminds me of the day I realized that I didn't need to be playing football. I was playing in 7th grade, and I was on the B team because, of course, I would be. And we were in practice, and they gave the ball to the fullback, and I thought I was going to be somebody and get there and get low, make the tackle. Obviously, somebody didn't do their job for me to be the tackle person. That dude went down, put this right here, right under my face mask. I was parallel to the ground before I wound up just hitting the ground. And that was shameful. And if it's shameful for me to get stiff arm, it has to be shameful for a pro to actually get stiff arm.
Was that the last day of football for you, or how soon thereafter did football end?
It was not the last day of football, but it was definitely the last day I viewed it in any sort of aspirational sort of way, right? I just wasn't no quitter.
Do you question if this high school football halftime show was the best part of the game?
All right, so we're in a pandemic. I don't know how many protocols this is going to violate, but I am told that at halftime of a low-level football game, there was a halftime show that had wrestling in it. This seems unsafe here. Yes. Oh, don't.
What?
Yes. Yeah, this is. Oh, don't do that. Is he going to hurt himself? Is he going to? Oh, my God. I mean, I can't say that's not entertaining, Bomani. It's not something that I would do, but I can't say it seems very unsafe.
How much did that cost? That's all I want to know. Like, what was the budget? Are these people like volunteers? Can you run that one more time? Because it's a little grainy in the footage I got here, but I feel like I got another question, which is, where'd the referee come from?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Like, I feel like if this is the halftime entertainment at the high school football game, I wouldn't think that the referee would even be at that stadium. Like, do we need to start a GoFundMe so they can get some instruments down there? Because I feel like if you got to go to wrestling as the halftime show, you're not invested properly in the arts. Kids should be out there blowing in horns.
There have to be a great deal of liability issues there. Do there not? Like, I would not. How does that happen without a great deal of insurance? You got a guy straight from the 90s rock, heavy metal band hair, and Bomani is so right about this. Like, the referee, how much do you have to pay that guy to be there?
Maybe he's the one who drove the truck. You know what I mean? Like how Vince McMahon used to be the announcer. Sweet narcotic is back in the air. The Braves are up 2-0. Let's look at Ozzy Albies mash baseballs. This is from a couple nights ago. Watch this. He mashes this one into the bullpen, right?
He's not one of their best hitters.
Now let's look at this again, right? This is Mark Mellinson getting ready to go do his job. Realizes what's going on. Calls for it. Got it. And then we got this one from last night. Ozzy, 89 ain't gonna get it done, son. You gotta throw a little harder than that. And another catch.
And stunting on him. Brian McCann would never go for that, stunting in his bullpen, because they're clubbing everybody, Bomani. You're an Atlanta guy. You don't show much emotion around your sports. You call very few things allegiances, but you love those Otis Nixon Braves. You love those 90s Braves. Are you back now that Brian McCann is gone?
They're up 2-0, right?
Yes.
I'm here.
All right. He's there. We got him interested in some baseball if they can knock out the Dodgers.
In a gym somewhere, Jimmy Butler.
Of course, always working. This is good for the Jimmy mythology. He came off winning the bubble just